together. There are two goals that I want to accomplish from our training today, since it's not specifically on the listing side training. I want to, first of all, be able to identify all of the people that are in our sphere of influence, number one. Secondly, all of those people that are in there that we're not talking to. Third, all of the people that are in there that we don't have all of the pieces of information. And then we're going to actually individually just script around how we begin the re-engagement of people that already know us, like us, and trust us. All right. So when we think about, our sphere of influence, first of all, your business is your database, period. All right. Period. If you're going to have a business, the bigger your database, the bigger your business. Now, back when I first started doing the 8x36 touch, you all know what this is now because I've trained on it, right? Or do any of you have questions about it?
I always have questions.
Okay. So come on in. Come on in. We made room for everybody, including our new trainee.
We are going to need Seth get a kiddo.
What is our new trainee's name?
Zad?
Zad?
Yeah.
Zad, thank you so much for coming in with your mom. It's so cool to see you. Oh, look, we get the Hilly too. All right. This is great. Your business is your database, but you have to systematically communicate to your database in order for it to get results. Now, if you go to pages 132 to 148 in the MREA book, this is a lot of what they talk about, and that's the marketing to your HaveMet database. Again, that's pages 132 to 148. So MREA book, side note, best book I've read is How I Built the Stern Team. That's it. You could relabel the book, How to Build the Stern Team. I did exactly what was in that book. All right. Nothing different, didn't vary. The cool thing is I was new enough in real estate that I didn't know anything. That was really cool. Because when you get older, you get smarter. And when you get smarter, you get thank you. Yeah. Right. So I was too young to not go, okay, I'll do all of these things. And I was doing all of the things. Now, with the 8x36 touch they called it a 36 touch in the book. It's now like a higher touch system. They would say that you would get a 2 out of 12 rate of return. So I was like, holy shit, like for every 12 people, I get 2 pieces of business. One's direct, one's referred. I thought they were bad at math. Like, you don't know the lowest common denominator. Who are you? Did you see I just did some math there? Lowest common denominator? Yes. That's my only math trick, by the way.
Wow.
No, I don't. Anyway, it's that one of those pieces of business would be one of those pieces of business would be refer. That's really important. So at the end of the very first year of me running the 8x36 touch, mind you, I'm making up my own marketing stuff. I'm printing my own stuff. I'm mailing my own stuff out. Right. So there was no resources that were helping me. When anybody's like, hey, you should send this, hey, you should send that. I had no idea. In fact, my partner in my brewery, Roha Brewing Project, when he moved up to Park City about a decade ago, he had found, because I sold him this house where we were neighbors for a long time, became good friends. He found one of the old mailers that I had sent out. If you saw that, you would be like, how did he get from there to here? Literally, it wasn't professional, wasn't anything, but the bottom line is I was on something. I was systematic, right? I all my communication, quarterly calls, all my mailers, anything was a system. It was all systematic. I knew I needed that because how many of you guys are systematic? So how many of you guys are running the 36 touch and making all of your quarter calls regularly because your system tells you that's what you're supposed to do?
Mostly.
Okay. Well, that's the thing. We want to go better on this, right? We want to go deeper on this, and that's what we intend to do. Now, for the first 5 years that I tracked this, every single year, my ROI was 6 to 1 or better. I got down to 5-point low 5s. That means I was doing a lot of business for my database. So I was doing something right. Now, I have the same problem as all of you guys. I don't want to talk to my database. They like me. I want them to keep liking.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm talking like my high school friends, to start with, right? Like some of my best friends are still my best friends, to this day that have, by the way, some of them have become millionaires now because I've helped them, with real estate over time. And all of them are homeowners at the very least, right? All of them used me. And so all of the stuff that we had up here in our, between our ears about, oh, I don't want to talk to them because, I think I'm salesy and I'm there like a friend. I had a way around all of this, all of this. So my intention today is twofold. Number one, I want to get us over the hump on like committing to these relationships. Because I can tell you for a fact that if you're not going to commit to these relationships, somebody's going to get to them before you do.
Right.
All right. If they're going to buy or sell, somebody else is going to, it'll be Dave, just like freaking circle call. They're like, oh yeah, my friend Tracy works at your company. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's great. And so next thing you know, like Dave's got this meeting and selling this gal's home that Tracy owns, right? That is what's going to happen.
No, it's someone else is dating your database.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Question I like to ask, when somebody says, well, I actually haven't. It's very good last time because of how they.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm getting here.
Yeah, exactly. So I want to go through some of these dialogues. I've had them all. I've had them all. I've had all the dialogues. I've gone all in, systematized it, and then grew too big, and then lost contact, and then had to reestablish contact, and then all of the things that are happening right now between your ears have already happened to me. And so I want to go through every one of your, reasons that we're not calling, so we can identify and we'll have a script for it. All right, that way we can recommit to calling them. The second part of this is some of you guys, are still not running all of your people through the command system. I want them in command and I want quarterly calls set up on them. But, I take Ryan. Ryan's a really good example because Ryan, how big is that database of yours from your previous career?
So, how do you help me sort of narrow it down? 6,200 people, I think.
How many?
6,200.
Oh.
I mean, what we were doing.
That's
Yeah. Yeah, you want to roll me 1,000? But I mean, they were doing the math. That's 100 people around. So it's just, I'm just.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, can we pick on you for
Yeah.
just a little bit? Because this will be kind of where I want to start. I want to get all of the people that we can get on these quarterly calls, because I'm telling you right now, this is the most important thing you need to hear from my mouth today. This system has to be prospecting based. That is not an email when you see their name come up. Hey, I was just thinking about you. How you doing? It's not a text message. It is a contact. So whether you're doing that in person through an event, which is, by the way, a fabulous way to get all of these people at once, or you're just doing it one-to-one, as I did for years, right? The most important thing is to know that the contacts. Now, 6,200, I never built my database that big. It was just too big, right? So Ryan's scenario is, didn't you call through, how did you call through once? Or
So yeah, I called through once.
okay.
Those are the people I've been doing quarterly calls to.
Okay. Yeah. And then when you called through once and you narrowed it down, what was your criteria for keeping them?
If I contacted them and they said I could stay in touch, then I kept them in the database.
Cool. So we're going to have people that are in our database. You bring up the first good point. Can I stay in touch? I want you to know that that's never a question that I ask, but I ask the question, just I do it differently.
Yeah.
So can we role play that? Because what I'd like you to do is go back through, because there's no way in God's name you got a hold of all of these people. There's just no way, right? So we have a lot of chicken, left on the bone, as I say, right? All right. So here's the thing. If I'm going to call those people, do you have any of these people that are in your database that kind of new, but you haven't really established any contact?
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Because and you're coming from a finance as well,
Right.
and you're coming from the haircut background, but both of them can be basically the same type of conversation. Absolutely, please record it. We're recording it on Zoom as well, but definitely record it. So the conversation that I would like to have, do you mind if I just role play it with you? All right, so usually when I'm doing phone calls, I'm gonna turn the other way so I can't see you, but in this case, because I'm talking to the Zoom, will you turn the other way?
You bet.
All right, perfect. And so it'd be like, hey, ring, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hey, Ryan, this is Josh Stern, Keller Williams Real Estate. Listen, we had worked together a number of years ago. In fact, I was your hair stylist. And I wanted to just call number one and let you know that I kind of switched over my business. I've been in real estate for a period of time, and I've just done a terrible job of reaching out to let people know that I'm in real estate. So Ryan, while I've got you on the phone, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Awesome. Do you have anybody right now that you refer people to in terms of their real estate needs? You have a realtor or number one? Not really? Okay, great. Ryan, what would I need to do in order to earn your trust and confidence and be the realtor that you refer people to, your friends, your family?
I mean, I hadn't really thought about it, honestly.
Okay, cool. One of the things that I am committed to doing is keeping all of my VIP clients, like you, updated on what's happening with the market. As you know, there's been a lot of changes, and I make it a point to study that market so I can help my buyers, sellers, and investors make good decisions when it comes time for them to buy, sell, or invest. All right. And I'd like to do that for you. But also, Ryan, I do a few quarterly events for all of my VIP clients, and I'd like to include you on that. And Ryan, while I've got you on the phone, it looks like the address that I have for you is 123 Main Street. Is that actually correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And I'm missing your email address for whatever reason, Ryan. And I'm not going to spam you, but I send out my market reports via email. So what is the best email address for you?
Bananas.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Got that down. And Ryan, while I've got you on the phone, do you have any tough questions about the market?
I mean, it's everything I see is that it's been crap, and I consider it my home, but I don't want my home to be anything crap.
Cool. So I'll put a stop to it because most people, you can turn on. It's cool. Yeah, I'll put a stop to that because I would have gone right into a whole conversation, right? But most people are just going to ask a little bit of this and that about, yeah, the market's crazy, right? I mean, interest rates are nuts, and you can agree, yes, they're nuts. Affordability, overall is at an all-time low, and that's because values on real estate haven't actually come down, but interest rates have tripled since last year, right? And so affordability is an issue. The cool thing though, Ryan, is the lender that I worked with, we're able to do what are called 3-2-1 and 2-1 buy downs, which are super sweet ways to get these interest rates reduced. So right now, in fact, with a 3-2-1 buy down, I could get your interest rate as low as 5%. And these are, by the way, paid for by the seller, not the buyer. Isn't that cool? Yeah. And then I'll just be like, well, cool, Ryan. I look forward to earning, the right to your referrals in the future. And I look forward to staying in touch. All right. So let's now pause on this. The first thing I did is, this was more of an introduction. He has no idea I'm probably a real estate. Maybe he's got something in email or mail, but didn't even connect that. I probably wouldn't have connected. Like if Ryan hadn't called me and I started getting an email from Ryan and he cut my hair 10 years ago, I'm not going to make the connection. It just won't be like, I don't know. Unsubscribe, right? So we're all going to have, do you have any of these people that are in your HAVMET database that you haven't really contacted? Dodging?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is a good introduction where we're asking for the right and what it is that we have to do to earn the referral business. Now, when I first started making these calls, some people would say, yes, I do have an agent that I refer business to. And you know what I would say? Great. Could I apply to be your number two? And I just kept them on my list. Here's the thing. I'm going to be in business for a long time. That was my mindset back then. And most people I knew in real estate back then were like in and out. It was like a turnstile, And so I wanted to be committed to be the one that would be in touch. And I won. All those people that had a number one, I have no idea who they were. I don't remember. But I became their person. Because whoever their number one is didn't last as long as I did and didn't communicate as well as I did and didn't have a system, ultimately didn't have a business. They just had a job. All right, cool. So appreciate that. Now we're going to come back to you because you have more scenarios that I want to work through. All right. So let's talk about the dodging part because everybody that's in this room has that person or people that are in the database that they've dodged. Some of it could be like, really jive with the person, they're like engineering, CPA mindset, blah, 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 whatever, like all the stories that we have, right? That are causing us to dodge them. And so let me ask you, give me a scenario of like,
I met more people that don't answer.
yeah,
Like they're dodging me, not me dodging.
oh, that's what's happening up here.
No, like I call them ridiculous.
I know, but they're not dodging.
Oh, okay.
They just don't answer.
I did have a guy recently, like we were talking about, he owns home in Jackson. He's been friends for years. And we were talking about it, I was trying to do some education on the market recently. He's like, you sound like a realtor and you sound professional and I don't like it. Oh, like he wanted me to talk to him how I talk to him normally, but when I was being more educational, he said it felt weird.
Don't let that get into your head.
No, I mean, I was like, well, I'm just gonna tell you the information,
Yeah.
like you're asking me questions.
Yeah.
I want you to be educated.
My very best friend who I was at his wedding 2 weeks ago, I got him into a duplex, and then the Salt Lake City Library made an offer a year later for a lot more money than, and I would never tell him to sell real estate. He knows that. He knows me. He's like, what should I do? I said, well, here's the rule. You're going to sell it, but you have to buy something else, because now you're going to have a bunch more money that you'll be able to put down on somebody else, right?
Yeah.
And so, he's dating fiance, he's getting a little sidetracked, and I don't know, we go out before I go up to Alaska, and he's like, like just as a friend, what do you think I should be doing this right now? I mean, I know you're just as a friend. Should I be buying right now? And I was like, as a friend, you should be buying right now. If you find something you like, you should buy it. And then going into all the reasons to buy it, which now sounds like a real estate agent. There is no crossover. He asks me because he trusts me and he wants me to talk to him like a friend, and I am, with real estate knowledge.
Yeah.
It's weird, but I'm going to tell him, here's why. And look him right in the eye if I can. And so, yeah, that part, don't let that, whatever you do, don't let that affect your brain, because we're being professional.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I might, if I had a situation like that, let me ask you a question, Rick. What's his name? Aaron. Do you not want me to use all the data and the numbers to help you make a good decision? Because as a friend, I'll just say,
Yeah.
all right, are we good? All right. Now, if you change your mind and you want all of the data and all of the reasons, let me know. I'll be there for you. That's not hard to do, right? But you have to be able to do that. So are there people that are in your SOI, for instance, that they're dodging? All right. So have you been consistent with the calls quarterly?
I feel like I'm not.
Cool. And then Audrey's going to help us kind of pull some stuff up so we can actually get these people applied to that quarterly call plan. So hang in there, because we're going to get to that. But I want to give you guys a little tip on these SOI calls. Is most of the time you're not going to get a hold of them.
Yeah.
Right? What time are we calling?
Work day.
Generally when they're working. It's like, Billy, oh, silly. So you know what I do? I used to use my text message, and I just created a template in text message. You know how to do this, right?
Oh, the little shortcuts.
Yeah, where you just type the number 1 and it pops up this text message. So I used to just do that. And I would just fill it in with like your name. Hey, Hilly, it's Josh. Nothing urgent. Just left you a message. If you get a chance, give me a ring, but nothing urgent, right? Or I might say, hey, this is Josh. If it's a very specific message. Hey, this is Josh. Nothing urgent. Always say the same thing. I left you a voicemail. We're doing this event. If you can make it, circle this date on your calendar. I'll send you an email. So I would follow up the phone call with a text message saying, because most of the text messages are just transcribed.
So when you make that phone call and that person does not answer,
Yeah.
are you leaving a message?
You are.
So that's what you just said. You left a voicemail then for him, then you sent him a
Yeah.
text, and then you're telling him.
Yeah. I left you a voicemail. Nothing urgent.
Okay. Right.
That's the important thing, right? Left you a voicemail. Nothing urgent.
Right.
Well, that was cool. Like this thing, whatever. They don't have to answer. It's almost the same as you did give them a touch. Because now they're going to read through the message. You see? Yeah, now eventually they will pick up the phone call, or if they're just non-phone people, which a lot of the younger generation are like, I don't talk on telephone. I don't do it now, you know? My daughter thinks I'm weird because I still like talk on the phone, like I call my friends and we have conversations. My wife, she's like, I'm like, I'm just having a conversation. That's what we used to do back in the day. Talk to people. It's weird, I know. But that's what I'm saying. Like you're just trying to lower that barrier so it doesn't feel like they should call you back. They don't have to. It's nothing urgent. I'm just leaving you a message about love. They're getting it. That's the most important thing, right? So you left the voicemail, follow with the text message. Boom, done. Now you can make text message shortcuts. You can Google that shit, and you can do it in Android, or you can do it in like a iPhone. You can do all of that, right? And you can do it just for the day. Today, this is going to be my text message, and then you push the number 1, and boom, there's a text message, and all you have to do is put your name or their name there. Hey, Ryan. Just left you a voicemail, nothing urgent. Okay. Are we good on that one? All right, Amy. I know that you're over there making contacts. I appreciate that.
No.
Now you have also a very big database. All right, and we have struggled to get through this database. Yet the majority of the business that you're doing right now is coming from where? Wow. Wow. I want you to teach this class on November 7th. Okay. I want you to teach the 8x8 and the 36 touch class on November 7th. All right. November 7th. Yep, write it down. Get that on recording. Somebody write that down for me. You know why? Because she has, just like mine, one of the best, juiciest databases there is, right? If I had that database when I started in real estate, I would have retired 5 years sooner than I did. That's the facts, right? Now, what gets in the way of you and communicating with the database? What gets in the way of you and communicating with the database? I don't know what to say. I don't, how many people are in that giant load of stuff that you've dropped into that CRM called command? How many people? 1,000?
Like 15.
1,500.
Where is it from? Just your friends? Holy.
Well, yeah, in her past work, you were
I
at
did
Costco
marketing.
forever. Yeah. And you have a tight community as well, tight
Yeah.
and family and friends. She's a fun gal to be around too. So what is the reason that we're not calling a lot of the time? Outside of the reasons that we've already talked about, because we're gonna come back to this again, is I don't know what to say. All right. And so you know what happens when you don't know what to say and you come into lead generate in the morning time? You don't say shit.
That's true.
You email. You email. You know what I mean? And we call that work. Email is a great touch. It's a terrible contact.
Instructions to me now.
Yeah. Mhm.
Shut it.
Is there something between you guys I need to know about here?
She thought you were saying good email.
Yeah.
And she got excited.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Well-
Let's erase the last 40 seconds.
You can do the touch system, which is 100 touches in a day if you don't want to do all the contacts, but 100 touches in a day still includes 20 contacts.
Explain what is that?
Oh yeah, so you would do like 20 contacts, then you would do 30 text messages, you would do 30 emails, and then you would do 40 social media DMs or comments on post.
Yeah. 20 calls.
Yeah, 20 calls. Let's just stop it with 20 calls, and then once you get to 20 contacts, let me know if you still need this equation. I'll give it to you. One step at a time. It's 20, 30, 30, 40. So it's 20 contacts because they should be done first. They're the most important thing. And you can start earlier in the morning, by the way. You can start at 8 before a call. You can make 3 contacts before 8. The problem with a lot of you guys is when you're calling your SOI, you're not announcing that this call is about business. And then you just have a quick script that you're going to go through, right? Especially if you're calling a friend or somebody you know, they're like, hey, what's up? Well, hey, this call's about business. It's like, imagine calling your best friend and say this call's about business. Could you imagine that? How would that feel?
Yeah, it's
Weird.
It's awkward.
Yeah,
Depends on the friend and their background.
Well, all my friends, all my friends are like, they're like the peanut gallery, like the total bachelor peanut gallery, so they're gonna give you shit. Like, what are you doing, dude? I'm inspired. I'm like, I'm doing my homework, man.
I use
Anyway.
that on Monday because I really bad with that.
Yeah.
It's,
Glad that you used that. Yeah, so I didn't make this up myself. I was having this problem with calling people that I knew, and then I would just take too long talking to them because I'm a
That's
talker.
what I do.
See? Yeah, I know. I saw your KPA. We're like this. We're twinners, Seriously. Yeah, we'll go through those two with you guys. But I had that problem. And so I wanted to shorten my phone calls because I wanted to increase my contacts, right? And so I would say this call's about business. Hey, Tracy, this call's about business. You have a second for me? Cool. Right. Now that's how it started.
Right.
All right. Now this time of year is a great time of year to let your people know your goals. How many of you in here are competitive? Yeah, cool. So we have,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, we have the majority of the room are competitive. I'm competitive, right? So I'd be like, can we role play the call?
Sure.
All right, do you turn around?
For
It's
sure.
just weird to like look at you. I'm doing it. And I would turn around except
No, I don't think you so.
I'm still talking to the computer. There you are. All right. All right, now I can look this way because she is looking at me. All right, so ring.
Hello?
Hey, Tracy, this is Josh over at Keller Williams. This call's about business. You have a second for me?
Sure.
Okay, I'm super competitive, right? We've known each other for a long time. And
Right.
so part of my homework assignment right now is to call all of my closest people, you of course being the closest, and to let them know that I have the goal to help 48 families buy, sell, or invest in real estate over the next 12 months. Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Can I count on you for at least one of those referrals over the next 60 to 90 days?
That's a great question.
Cool.
Of course you-
You're so sweet. I appreciate it. And always I appreciate calling. I've got to run because I've got another 1,237 people that I'm supposed to make this phone call to. So thank
you're
you.
their closest friend.
Thank you for that. I'll talk to you on Saturday.
Sure.
Later.
Thank you.
Boom. Do you see how that went?
Yeah,
Do you see how different that is?
yeah,
I can be a friend,
yeah.
but I can I'm a competitive person. I'm stating my goals. This call's about business. And then I can do the friend stuff after, right? All right. And I gotta go because I got literally 1,237 more of these calls to make. And I don't laugh about that, Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you guys do this? Can you see, are there anybody in your database that you can see the need to do this with?
Yeah.
Amy,
All of them.
how many people do you need to contact a day?
Today?
Yeah, a day.
Oh, a day.
Yeah, how many do you need to
30.
contact a day? What do you think your average is over the last, say, 6 months of contacts per day? Contacts
Probably
are the
actual conversation.
actual conversations about real estate, yeah.
I'd probably say like 20 really active contacts.
Are you rounding up like I do?
Yeah.
All right, that's what I thought.
I'm a Midwest.
But let's talk about this. I'm in the Midwest too. Like we're like again, for real. Yeah. So let's talk through that because this is real for everybody else. This isn't just you. This is real for everybody.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
my goal is 30, right? And I guess if I'm lucky,
Is your goal 30 or is my goal 30?
yeah, it's your goal.
That's the problem.
But I mean, trying.
There's no relationship with that goal because it's not yours. It's mine. That's what my coach and I decided to do. I just pass it along to you and say that's a good idea because it worked for me. But it needs to be yours, right? So number one, the relationship with your goals matters. It trumps everything else. Number two, what happens when we come into the office to start prospecting? How long does it take for us to get set up to start our contacts?
30, 45 minutes.
30, 45.
Hour.
All right. So, but we're just being real. I mean, I appreciate let me role play this out with you because everybody else is listening because this is happening. All right. So what else happens? You get phone calls?
Yeah.
So is that a contact? Does it count?
No, it's usually.
Oh, that's right. There's that. Okay, cool. Can we talk about that for just a minute? All right. So when I came in and I did my prospecting originally, there were a couple of things that I would do. Number one, I used to drop my phone into a cell phone jail. I noticed there's no more landlines around here, so I guess maybe we're done with that. Yeah, I guess we're done with the landlines, right? Can you call through the sync? But if you call through the sync, your phone's still on, isn't it?
No.
It's a different one.
Boom. There's a solution. That's all Dave. He's just throwing tables around. At least he's got good reflexes still. So,
I'm sorry, what were we talking about?
wow. Yeah, it's a calendar. Yes. Yeah, what we're saying is what's gonna happen is we'll come in, we'll get distracted. So one of the ways that we can reduce the distraction is call first through Commissions Inc. Right? We can call through that system and turn our phone on airplane mode. Does that sound right? Because you still have Wi-Fi on airplane mode, right? Can we do that? I don't know. I'm asking. That's a question.
You can do that with your
You can do it with your phone. Yeah, but how are you gonna make contacts? How many people in here have like their family calling all the time? Tracy?
I have recently told them to not call me until after 12.
All right, good. Yeah, that's good. That's what my mom would tell me to say.
She's my therapist and I'm her therapist.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And we do, yeah, you gotta let them know we do therapy at like 6 a.m. You know, or we do therapy after 5. Right, I'll call you on the way. But this is real. The distractions are real. That's just one distraction. That's not all of them. Those are the things that are getting in the way of us actually being professional business people, allowing the distractions. Do doctors allow distractions?
Oh, no.
No.
They're having to let you wait.
Yeah, do dentists allow distractions? Do attorneys allow distractions? Why are we treating ourselves like we're working at McDonald's then? Why do we treat ourselves like teenagers? Why are we treating ourselves like teenagers? You know, that are ever distractible. Like, why would we do that? Nobody got into real estate to be average or fail. But that's what we're doing. That's how we're treating it. Not intentional. This is not intentional. I'm just bringing up the things that are real for all of us. And unfortunately, I'm picking on Amy a little bit because she's being honest with me, right? So what else distracts us from making those calls?
Figuring out what to call.
Where we talked about the script, right? So you have people that are in your database that you've uploaded that you haven't talked to, not one time. And how long have you been selling real estate?
4.5 years.
Okay, no problem, right? No problem. Is that a hard call to make? They still know who you are, do they not? This is a really weird call, Amy. This is Josh with Keller Williams. We worked together over at the Costco's back in the era. And you probably had heard this from Hilly, but I got into real estate, been doing it now for 4 years. I freaking love it. The market's been a lot busier than I thought it would be. And as a result, I've had our old friends just call me, asking me questions about it. And so I figured, you know what, I'm just gonna call you and see if you have any tough questions about what's happening. Yeah, it's awesome. That's in your script book. It's the orphan. That's why I call it.
I know, I started using that actually.
But did you see how human you can make it though? You just got to make it human, right? And then you have to promise that you're going to do a better job and stay in touch, right? So that way, you know what's happening. I'm going to do better. And so always throw yourself on the bus. People love self-deprecation. Right? They love self-deprecation, right? So, but we have more. There's more reasons in that database, right? The other one is we don't have them set up on to show you how to do that. At the very least, even if you don't have all of their information, you're going to still be making calls, right? And most of them are probably not going to answer. Am I correct? And when they don't answer, remember what we do? Hey, Amy, it's Josh. I left you a message. Just felt bad that I hadn't reached out to you earlier to let you know that I will stay, and I have been for the last 4 weeks. Everybody's you can send it as text because you just load it up. I mean, I don't want to have to refigure it out, but you know, as my wife would say, GTS. You can figure out anything. Google that stuff. I'm trying to use a good filter.
Thank you.
Trying to be better.
Yeah.
Better version of Josh.
Sorry, I will be repeating. anything.
No, it's all good.
The kids.
It's all good. No, this is a great challenge for me. This is 18 years of my real estate career. I've worked at Filter. So like, this is going back to being real estate.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. So that's the real thing is like, we just call, we follow up with a text message and you promise that you're gonna do a better job. And the quarterly call comes up again. And you do it again. And you do it again. And you do it again. And guess what? You do it forever. You know why? Because right now they're estimating that the people that are running a successful 36 touch plan with those quarterly calls are getting a 10-1 rate of return. What's the average commission here? 12,000, right? That's just average. That's the average commission is $12,000. All right. For every 10 people that are in my database, what's 10 divided by 12,000? It's 1,200. That's $1,200 a person that I have. You're just a name and a number and a blah, 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 until we're gonna get in a relationship and do business, right? So I don't care if you ever pick up the phone or not, I'm gonna still stay in touch with you and be in front of it. Like the transcribed messages, you're gonna get it. You're gonna listen to it or you're just gonna read it. Are you not? Do you guys get those messages? Do you read them? Generally. Okay, so you're just reversing the role. You read them, somebody else is gonna read yours, right? So if they don't answer, no big deal. Leave them a voicemail and shoot them a text. Shows up in writing twice. Easy? All right, what other reasons would we have not to call? Outside of they're not on a quarterly call, and many of them, that beautiful, juicy database that you have, haven't been touched. What are some other reasons?
Honestly, I really just blame myself.
Well, I know, but we need to not just blame ourselves. I mean, I love that. Hey, I suck at this. We're here to get better at it.
Yeah.
Right. This is like an AA meeting. We can all be honest.
I have a thought on that.
Yeah.
One of my most favorite quotes is, our mind is so powerful that it creates our own limitations. And so I feel like a lot of times when we know we need to do these things, we know we need to call that person. And we don't, it's because we don't believe, like, there's something, not necessarily that, but something is going on in our mind that we don't believe we deserve that, or we won't get it, or something is going on. But basically, we're creating our own limitation and we're not achieving what we can.
Yeah, I mean, I know, was it
Oh, you Billy Robbins.
yeah, I'm trying to think of the quote that we're afraid of our own power, that kind of a thing. Yeah, I forget the quote, but it's, yeah, I mean, what you're saying is very powerful. So, you know, worth addressing. I've said this before and I'll say it again, and I'm being deadly honest with you. I did affirmations every single morning of my real estate career for up until probably 2016. That's no joke. No joke. I say 2016 because the 2 years before that, I bought a house that had a glass shower surround, and so I didn't have to worry about laminating my affirmations. I could just tape them on the outside. Really? I had to do that a little bit because it's foggy. Okay, so what do you say when you talk to yourself?
I'm gonna say, or what did you say?
Yeah. Well, I know what the monkey mind says. It's never helped us, right?
Yeah.
But are you programming yourself to be a powerful businesswoman?
I think I am.
Good. Are you saying it every day?
Yeah.
All right, good. And then Hilly, same thing. You know, I encourage all of you guys to look at the power of affirmations. Our brain is just a CPU. Okay. People don't wake up wanting to wear a suicide vest and go bomb a church or a mosque. That doesn't happen. It happens over time because of what's being programmed. All right. We're all programmed, by the way, all of us are right now programmed. Okay. So do you want to be in control of the program? Because if so, you should very much consider using affirmations to start your day, getting your head right. You know, we do the mindset call, which is great because it declares the intention and sets you on your path, right? But what are we doing before that? We have to convince ourselves. My mom asked me, you know, when I got into real estate, you know, when I got my license, she's like, so what are you afraid of? I'm like, what's happening between my ears? What's happening between your ears? Self-doubt. Like, I'm human. It's all the same stuff that you guys probably have, right? So that's just a way to handle that. All right, so we're gonna go over to Tracy now. Are we good with that?
Yeah.
Oh, we're coming back to you.
I'll go to the bathroom.
This is November 7th. What day is that? We'll figure it out. Don't, you don't have to look at it. Oh, no, we're gonna do that because I'm like, the teacher becomes the student and the student becomes the master. 8x8 36 touch, I started teaching that in 2004, the year the book came out. I hadn't even finished doing it. 8x8 is 8 weeks long. I didn't even finish an 8x8 yet. And my mom's like, hey, I need you to teach this class. And I'm like, she's like, yeah, you're the only one that's doing it. You teach the class. That was a good move on her part. Why? Because I take it seriously. I'm gonna show up unprepared. I'm gonna do the work. And then, I did a good job in the class. So I got to teach again next month, next month, next month, next month, next month. You know what happened? I ran the tightest 8x36 touch there was. And I had to walk. Became a master. Tracy, who in our database are we not calling? Give me just a couple of moves. Give me a scenario. Give me a pitch.
Probably parents from like productions that are.
Okay, I know these parents are also invited to the different productions that you do, or is it just that?
It's no, it's a product, like I do a production for a clothing store every year.
Okay.
So like I don't, like I have their information, like their contact information because,
Yeah. So we're not talking about the moving forward part, because we talked a little bit about introducing how we sponsor these events
Right.
through our real estate business. So you just turn around, so has the choice, really out. Yes.
we have work.
It's
We haven't worked.
yeah, it's on the Zoom, so you should be able to hear that, right? And so, but now what we're doing is we're talking about going back in time, and that's the awkwardness. That's where you're having awkwardness. Am I right?
Well, yeah, when I haven't necessarily talked with people for years, and then all of a sudden, I've been out of the weird like, hey,
Hey,
yeah, I sell real estate now, So I mean, I guess that's the big hurdle right there.
learning how to bridge the gap of what we love to do, versus how we do what we love to do, right? Because we all have that kind of stuff. I mean, do you have a friends group, Billy, that you do things with?
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Right, and so learning how to bridge the passion gap with what funds that passion. That's real common. That's really the hardest part is picking up the phone. But once you've done it once, it's easy to do it from there on out. So can we role play like how we might do that?
Sure,
All right.
would you like me to turn around?
Yes. I know you're gonna be looking at me again.
Josh, you have to talk to.
Okay. Ring ring.
Hello.
Hey Tracy, this is Joshua Stern. We did the play together with your kids just a few years back. And listen, this call is about business. Do you have just a second for me?
Sure.
Okay, I promise I won't take much time. Now, regardless if you said yes or no, I'm gonna be like, I promise this won't take long. I recently hired a real estate coach. I know you didn't know I was in real estate, but that's how I fund all of the charitable things that I'm doing for the schools, like the plays and that. And I just wanted to call, actually, it's my homework assignment, to call you and find out who are you referring your real estate needs to, like people that love and trust, like who are you referring them to in terms of a realtor? Do you have one?
Yeah, just
Yeah, your uncle Brister. Right, got it. And could I ask you, Tracy, would it be okay for me to apply to be your number two? Cool. And what would it take, for me to earn your trust and confidence to be that number two person? Okay.
Maybe your knowledge, I guess, of the market, or like, is it pretty weird?
Yeah, I mean, as uncomfortable as it is for me to call, I have to go back all these years and call. One of the things I am committed to doing, Tracy, is keeping everybody informed about what's happening in the market. It's shifted quite drastically over the last, 4 years. I'm sure you've been following along. And so I've made it a point to become that local economist. And so I want to earn your trust. If you have questions about the market, questions nationally or locally, I want you to feel like I could be your number two for that. Okay.
Sounds good.
I'll do a better job of staying in touch from this point forward, I promise.
Sounds great.
All right, thanks for your time, Trace.
I love the coach stuff. That's a real good, like, introduction.
Yeah, because you know what we're doing is we're putting him under the bus. I don't know. Just have to do this. I already listened, but you told me how to do this. I don't want to be under the bus. You know what I mean? You get you gotta bear that burden. And that's a great way to do it. All right, so we just had that. This is very real. Like that. I mean, you have a lot of those people that are there. I would like you to use that script.
Yeah.
And just go back and make the call. If you're not number one, you could be number two, and you just refer back to it's okay. Being number two is okay.
Right.
How do I earn your trust and your confidence to be that number two? And they may tell you just, you know, I don't really know. Okay, well, one of the things I'm committed to doing is keeping all of my people, you know, informed of what's happening in the real estate market. You know, there's been a lot of changes over the last 4 or 5 years. I'm sure you've been following that. I make it a point to keep all of my people in the know. So when it comes to their own home buying, selling, or investing needs, they make good decisions. So I'll promise to do a better job in the future. And people are just like, damn, okay, right on. Wow, it's powerful. Can you do it?
Yes, I can.
Okay, we're gonna recording. I don't know what minute that is, but you'll find it. All right, Jim, your turn.
Okay.
We have, you know, a variety of different people that are in the SOI that we haven't been contacting for various reasons. Let's pick on one or two.
Probably, well, another thing we have in theater is we don't count those people as their SOI.
Ooh.
So we don't count the parents and we don't count to our community play, which I was doing some quick math while you were talking, is probably got at least another 400 in that group.
So glad we're doing this.
We don't even think.
Yeah, no, you know what, it took me 15 years. 15 years for Gary Keller to tell me, how many of y'all calling your the spouses of the people in your database? And we're like, nope. And he was like, you know, because he's talking about, you know, to the top 100 agents in the company, he was talking about you need to get to 10,000 as quickly as possible and build a moat around it.
So I think that's interesting about calling spouses, because I have spouses,
Yeah.
like, but I don't call them,
Yeah.
because I think there's a sexism sort of thing, like, I'm friends with the mom,
Mhm.
I know the dad,
Mhm.
but if I was to call him,
Mhm.
it just feels like weird.
Yeah, I mean, it never, the thought, that didn't ever register up
Right.
here. The thing that registered was, damn, I need to get to 10,000 and there's the quickest route. That's the only
So,
thing.
Could you be like, I spoke with your wife, and I'm like, I've got to meet this number, and I'm giving you a call. To see.
Easy to do. Yeah, and I don't remember exactly what I did, but I did something like that. They all knew who I was.
Right.
You know, so that wasn't the problem. But I'd be like, you know what? I was calling Tracy and I realized I really don't ever call you, Jim. And that's my bad. And I just feel like I need to do a better job of keeping both of you guys in touch with what's happening with the real estate market. So I want to find out if you had any questions.
I do. Most of the time, in some of the relationships, the man is the decision maker.
Right.
And so I've actually done a lot better job of communicating with the husband, and that's been beneficial.
I'm so glad you brought it up because you know, you just turned one person into, you just turned one contact into two.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't think to bring that up to you guys, but it took 15 years for Gary Keller sitting up in front of his top 100 agents in the company to say, how many of y'all are calling the spouses in your database? Because he was literally talking about how do we get to 10,000 in our database and build a moat around it as quickly as possible. That was it. Let's go. Why? Because you have people like Zillow coming off of it, right? You have Zillow, you have Trulia, you have Redfin. That's almost all old news because now you have all the iBuyers that are coming up. They're infiltrating your people. And that was a problem for him. So he's like, you need to get to 10,000. You need to do it quickly. How are you going to do it? And that was one of the things. It's just because naturally, I just wanted to talk to you because you and I were more similar.
Right.
And just what happened. That's just the way it was, you know. Or my best friend Bryson, you know. I didn't call Jane, you know. I didn't call her, you know. I just called Bryson. So I started calling her. That was good because she works at the University Hospital as a charge nurse. She's in charge of the whole pick line, you know, so that worked out really well for me when I started these calls.
Hey, Josh, I think another good point about having spouses is they both know different people.
That,
And so exactly, I mean, like he's going to work, he's hearing his friend at work
you're right.
needs to move. So I mean, they
Now,
have different skills themselves.
That's what Gary Cope's point
Yeah.
was, exactly that, is that they all know different people, and it's true, they do. You know, I mean, not all of us work together. My wife tried, she quit after 6 months. I'm just kidding, I fired her. Actually, it's still, it's an open fresh wound, even though it's 20. Anyway, so let's go.
A good group would be people I used to work with in banking in town. So it's probably a good 100, 200 people that I know.
Okay. And what were those relationships like, just so?
So they just work relationships. I mean, they'd all work in this office.
In the office, okay,
Yeah.
so it was an office environment, office
Right.
relationship.
Yeah.
Right, and have you called and just done the basic, you know, real estate intro or not even?
With just a handful.
Why, okay, so why the hand?
Well, it's the same problem I have with everything else. Fixing it right now,
Uh-huh,
but it's the scripting, it's the language, it's like awkward.
okay, but you didn't feel awkward with 5.
No, because they just gonna, girded up my loins, all those 5, did other things too, that connected to the things. It wasn't this script though. For
Okay.
example, a couple years ago, I was doing some private consulting.
Yeah.
And so I would call them, go ahead, if not anybody,
Yeah.
which is hilarious, because now I can just do that with real estate, but didn't do it.
Yeah, and the finance was it, what kind of finance was it?
Like treasury management stuff.
Treasury management,
Yeah.
wealth building,
No more corporate B2B stuff.
business to business.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, like I would be calling my folks and just asking about their, how are things going? But I'm sorry, I haven't done a great job of staying in touch with you. I've hired a coach, by the way, in real estate now. I know the market's pretty crazy, but I've always been geek about wealth management, and now I'm helping people to build real estate portfolios and make good decisions when it comes to buying and selling. But how are you doing? How's the business going? Right. And while I've got you on the phone, do you have any tough questions about this ever-changing real estate market? Hey, Jim, here's one of the things I want to do. Do you have a real estate agent that you're currently referring business to?
I have a guy.
You have a guy. What would it take for me to earn that number 2 spot? So let's say you're one guy, retires in Fiji. What does it take to earn that number 2 position? How can I earn your trust in your money?
Yeah, let's just stay in touch. Keep know more about the market.
I promise to do a better job of it, be consistent with it, so you feel comfortable calling me with any questions or just refer if that's what comes up. Good luck with everything. I miss working there, but I am sure enjoying my new wealth building trajectory.
Yeah.
Is that perfect?
Yeah, that's great.
Is that Jim?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's just writing those scripts.
It's a good list to put some of those people on your investor list too. You can say, hey, if we have any good investment properties coming up, would you like us to send it your way?
Yeah, what's another angle that I could take on that? It's the same one as the orphan SOI script.
The apology script?
Yeah, the apology script. Yeah. Hey, Josh, or hey, Jim, it's Josh over at Keller Williams Real Estate. Listen, we've been working together a few years back at B&B Wealth Management. And I don't know if you've heard, but I kind of transitioned into real estate, just hired a real estate coach. And so now I'm doing the hard thing, and that is calling all the people I've actually worked with before and letting them know I'm in real estate. So that's number 1. Number 2, do you have anybody that you're currently referring your real estate transactions or needs to?
Yeah, I got a person I use.
Perfect. Yeah, excellent. And I'm sure that person is great. Jim, what I'd like to do is apply for that number 2 position in the event that your person is retired in Fiji, which hopefully they will be soon. But one of the things I can do is commit to keeping you posted about what's happening with the real estate market and the trends, because it is definitely moving quickly, and doing it on my dime, so you don't have to worry about it. And what I'd also like to do is just kind of put you on our VIP client list, because we are doing now, Tracy and I, 4 events a year just for our VIP clients, and I'd love to get an invitation out to you for that. What is your mailing address? What's the best address for that?
123 Main Street.
123 Main Street sounds good. All right, excellent. And I do just the market reports and the stats via email. I don't know if you want me to start a business email, but if you have a different email, I'm happy to send it to them. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. All right, cool. Well, I look forward to doing a better job of staying in touch. Promise to be consistent with you. Hopefully earn that number 2 position.
Thanks.
What if you had old, like super old high school? friends
Yeah, like
that-
that
like,
was
they
my
are
only SOI when I
But like,
started.
you haven't talked to, like, would you consider calling them? Or like
Mm.
maybe you're friends on Facebook and they like your stuff kind of thing, but you haven't actually spoken to them?
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm so glad that you brought that up because if we're friends on Facebook, you know, and we are like commenting on people's, you know,
Right.
things, I'm gonna do a DM to those folks. I'm just gonna just do a quick touch DM. You may not even have their phone number.
Right.
I probably wouldn't call them, hey, we're Facebook friends, we went to high school together. I probably wouldn't do that. But what I probably would do is just send out a DM, hey, you know, we know each other really well. You know, we're still friends from a distance. I, as you probably are aware, am in real estate, hired a real estate coach. And my real estate coach has challenged me to get back in touch with all of the people I went to high school with that I had a good relationship with. And of course, you're the first one. And so what I'm trying to do is put together a VIP client list because we do events once a quarter. And I'd like to invite you to those events. What's the best phone number? And just start with the phone, if you don't have it. If you have a phone number, what's the best email? If you have a phone number and email, what's the best address to send it to? Right? And just
Don't ask for all 3 necessarily, but
no.
just like.
just
Go.
what's the best phone number? So how can I reach out to you directly?
Right.
Yeah. And just start with that. That's a very soft approach.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not trying to be salesy. Ultimately, what you guys have to understand is we are not in sales. And the longer you think we're in sales, the shorter time you're going to be. Okay, we're professionals, we're business professionals. We help people like wealth management with the biggest decisions financially they're going to make in their life. The fact that they call it real estate sales is utter bullshit. This is not sales. I told you the story about my brewery partner. He's an engineer. You know, when we opened up this brewery together, he's like, you're gonna have to do sales. And I'm like, you're the one with the shirt, mama. You'll be working here full time, buddy. Because his wife is like phenomenally successful, like really well to do. Anyway, you know, I told him real estate sales is about relationships. People are already gonna buy beer. Like, you know, all the distributors, all the bars, they're already buying beer. Why would they buy your beer? Is it the best beer in the world? You could think it is, but does that matter to them? No, what matters to them?
Relationships.
Your relationships. Yeah. So when I get on the phone with people, I'm not trying to sell shit. I'm just trying to reestablish a relationship that will take time. It will take time. But the thing is, I'm going to be in this business 5, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 25 years. I got that. Now I'm going to create a system to ensure I never drop the Tracy ball again. I will stay in touch with Tracy. I will. I will.
So Josh, do you try and reestablish those relationships, like, so that the first contact you have is saying, you know, hey, I'm a real estate agent, I hired a coach. So you're suggesting that's how the best way to reconnect is starting right off with business rather than, hey.
Exactly what I did.
Okay.
Exactly what I did.
Okay.
I blamed it on my coach.
I love the coach idea.
Yeah.
I haven't tried that.
Yeah. I think of like all of the homes, I mean, I'm thinking in my head right now of all of these people that I had reconnected with using that script. Now, first of all, we're closer friends now, you know, as a result of it. But secondly, I've sold them all multiple houses, and they've referred me. I just got, I went back to create the relationship. The hardest part that you guys have is re-establishing a connection.
Right.
Once you're through that, that's what today's all about.
Right.
Once you're through that, you're doing this thing called systematizing staying front, right? We do that with the 36 touch. So let's go to the command. Let's go to command. And I almost feel like log into Ryan. Ryan, do you have like thousands of people in your command?
No, it aborted halfway through importing it. So I took them out. I took them out for what? Yeah, I've got 450 in that.
Okay. So how many were you trying to upload?
6,200.
Yeah, I'd like to get them all. I don't know that you're gonna be able to have a relationship with all of them. But every day I have to be trying really hard, because these are all already people that have known you before. Right. 62.
Or at least knew who it was.
Right. How long did you do there?
15 years.
Damn. It's extraordinary. That's what I think about when I think of Amy too. It's just like this giant database. And I know what's possible with that database. I know what it is. I know what's possible. At least a 10-to-1 rate of return. For me, it was much better. Right? Yeah. So it's an awful lot of people. Do you have all of your people in there set up on quarterly calls yet?
I think so,
Okay.
but not all their emails.
Right, so so I'm gonna have Audrey show you how to say, you know, when you bring in, you got 500 people sitting in the database, you don't want to make a call to them all on one day. It's just not gonna do it, you know, it's not gonna happen. So I want her to show you how to do, this is important, so watch what she does. She's going to select all of her people that she's just uploaded into here.
Make sure to go to the biggest selection possible first.
Yeah.
So drop to the top 500. I won't actually do it now, Ryan, but you're going to select all. This is Ryan's.
This is Ryan's, okay,
Yeah.
so we won't complete it, but we're gonna kind of show you how to do this, okay?
So you want to select all just right here at this button.
Yeah, you got it. It worked.
And then we are going to select a bulk action and we're going to add them to a smart
Okay,
plan.
slow down, slow down. So you see where she, right next to the selection, she now went into bulk action. You can do bulk action for a lot of different things, like I just want to send out an email, I want to do a bulk export, you know, or I want to add a bulk label like SOI, that's bulk action. There. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to, assuming that we've downloaded the quarterly call plan from Keller Williams, right? We're going to
Yes.
go into our add to smart plan.
You're going to hop over to this side and you're going to search for just quarterly.
Again, this is the assumption that the quarterly call plan is already downloaded into your library. It's not, you hit us up separately and we'll show you how to do that. All right, so there's the quarterly call plan, right? Now, for those of you guys who have a big database like Amy and Ryan and Magic and Nelson's put together a great size of database. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take the amount of people that are in that database, divide by 60, that's the amount of working days you have in a quarter. So database divided by 60 equals calls for contacts per day, okay? Database divided by 60 equals contacts per day. So in this case, we have 409. So if I divide 409 divided by 60, it is 6.81, so we'll round up to 7. So we're gonna do a bulk action. Go ahead.
So in this particular case, if you have some contacts that don't have all of the information in there, like a last name, a phone number, an email, it's going to tell you you have contacts with errors. I would recommend exporting this list. It's going to send you an email with that export, and then you can add them to that plan later on.
Or you can add to the plan anyway, when their information shows up and you don't have a phone number, but you have an email, you can just throw an email out, or you can do a social media touch, right? You can do one of the other touches other than the call. Because we just talked about this with social media and reconnecting with old people.
So if you add to plan anyway and you get numbers later, it will then just take that in.
Yeah, the number will show up. Yeah.
And plan, but this is where you will start to do the just 7 a day or however many you need to do a day, rather than starting everything now. Start it by staggering it over the next few days.
Yeah, so click on stagger.
Is that new?
No, it's been there. And then you're gonna stagger maximum contacts per day. That's where you would take your SOI divided by 60, it'll be that much. And then you'll hit that. And then I think it even gives you an option after you've done that to not include weekends to be one of those things.
Double check on that. I think it's like right.
But either way, if you do it this way, it's gonna work. It's must work.
Yeah.
That's what we need. So Ryan, I need you to put in your GPS, your priority number one will be the SOI. And we're gonna work through all of this, but we've got to get these people back uploaded into here. Even if we're not able to contact all of them, that's such a beautiful business for you. That's just waiting to be harvested. And now we're starting to get an idea that everybody's had the same problems I had. And that is, how do we talk to these people that we haven't talked to?
Can I give you like one of the things I got from people?
Yeah, I want that.
They would say like, oh, this is like the third time you called me, I told you I'm not buying or selling a house, what is it that you want with me?
That happened?
So I was just.
And you called them like 3 times?
Yeah, like, oh, you know, like quarterly.
And you took notes on the phone call? Okay.
So I said, you know, I'm just, this is long the end of trying to stay in touch and like be the person
Yeah.
that you come to, you know, rely on for information and that sort of thing.
Okay.
But it just like got in my head.
Well, I can imagine. So you're gonna have to get it out of your head.
For sure.
Is it do you have notes on those people that
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know who they are?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, so when they pop up, you don't have to worry about calling.
No, I mean, I'd have to look at
Okay.
it.
Well, now you're in a market center that has 4 quarterly events a year.
Mhm.
Okay, so you know, in the future, you're gonna be calling for really coming from a place of contribution.
For sure. Value. I think that's the thing that was missing.
Value-based follow-up.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's called John Vandergates in our NLP class. He alluded to part of the training. By the way, we're gonna get him back for a 2-day NLP
Sweet.
training for $50.
$50. How does he afford gas?
I'm gonna fill his room is what it's gonna happen. I mean, because none of us can teach that. So I can
Right.
teach NLP, but what it is value counts, you know, and so he alluded to that in the class, but that's what Dave was saying. When you come from a place of contribution, first of all, your reconnecting script is only too long. It's in the script book. It's the orphan SOI. Hey, sorry, done a good job of staying in touch. Everybody's been calling me. I hadn't heard from you. I figured, oh God, oh yeah. See, if you have any questions about what's happening with the real estate market, and I promise to do better in the future. Second call is, you know what? Last time I talked to you, I didn't even ask you if you had any real estate goals for 2020. I forgot about that. Yeah, okay. Now from that point forward, it's just contribution. That's it. So what's the event? Right.
Yeah.
You know, gratitude. Hey, just wanted to call and express some gratitude. You know, this time of year, I just, you know, think about all the things I'm thankful for. You were a client of mine for 15 years, and I just wanted to let you know, thank you. I appreciate that. That's it. Right. July, we talked about when tax notices come out. A part of the one of the things that I do for my VIP clients is help dispute taxes. So be on the lookout, you know, for these tax notices. They'll come out the second week of July. We have until the 15th of September to help you dispute those taxes. If you feel like they came in high, want you to send me over the tax assessed value, I can help you dispute these for free. It's just part of the thing that I do for my VIP clients. And I did that every single year. I mean, I literally still have dozens of people every year when those tax notices come out, and I'm like, it's turnkey. People. Yeah.
Do you reach out to vendors?
Yeah, put them on my, it took a long time for me to get my mind wrapped around that, but everybody does that. Everybody gets 36 touches. Everybody gets invited to the. Yeah, it took me a long time to figure that
I
out.
like to set expectations with vendors. Like, hey, I plan to send you 5 to 10 referrals this year.
Yeah.
Would you mind making that a goal of yours as well?
Yeah, well, and this is that's a great point, because what I was saying about the script for I'm really competitive setting goals, coaches having me call everybody, you know, I've got to go with help 48 families by selling investment. I'll count on you for at least one of them, right? So that script, you know, and that's a great script for the vendor, just like that. You know, I set a goal to help 48 families buy or sell a home this year. I know you're going to be working with, you know, if not all of them, you know, most of them. I just wondered if I could count on you for one referral in the next 60 days. One. And when they say yes, what do you do? Think about it. When you say yes, what do you do?
Set the follow-up call.
Boom. Follow-up call in what period of time? 30. You always cut everything in half. Whatever anybody says, cut it in half. Hey Tracy, it's Josh. I know we talked last month about the referral. I just wanted to let you know we're happy to that 60-day mark, and I had heard from you. Yes, so you can call and shake the tree and see if any peaches fall. That line got used on me once. Yeah. I know. So, that's what your CRM is for, is you can just schedule an activity around that client to do a call in the next 30 minutes, right? Easy to do. Not hard, you just schedule a task follow-up, right? It's easy, isn't it?
Super easy.
Yeah, your CRM is like, that's where you're living. Just inside that CRM. Yeah, I mean, you guys look good, but when you're here at work, first of all, we're gonna separate you. We're gonna put Tracy on that side on the far end, we're gonna put Jim on this side, on the far end. I'm gonna put Dave right next to Jim, and I'm gonna put Josh right next to Tracy, and then we'll switch that up like every other time. Just switch it up. So, I want the calls to be made. I want your people on there. We've worked through some of these things, but if you're not gonna go and make the calls, we're not gonna move the needle forward. Okay, we've all been rejected, we'll continue to be rejected, but they're not rejecting the human called Tracy. That's all. We just haven't reconnected that relationship yet. Not hard. It's not hard, but we got to get out of our head to do this, and that's what we've been guilty. I'm just telling you, I'm throwing myself under the bus first. I was the first one to have all of these problems in real estate. Anybody in the room been in real estate for 22 years? No? Okay, so just because I'm the first one to have the problem, I've been able to solve all of these. And so, and that's, now we can shorten the process for you guys. Right. So are we good now to make some more of these calls?
Yeah, I need to, we need to get that coordinator.
Yes, yeah, definitely, because they weren't there for any of
Let's meet.
the 8x8 36 touch, post-close 18-month buyer, 18-month seller, and quarters. We've got a bunch of plans that are very specific to what we're coaching on here that will get set up. What I need you guys to do is every single person, get them into the CRM. If they're living in your phone, I don't know where they're living, but get them into the CRM. Work through. If we're missing a piece of information, always make sure that that's the piece that you're looking for, the apology call, or the reconnecting call, or this is how I found my passion, phone call, or I just hired a coach phone call, or I'm a competitive guy, or I just am filled with gratitude this time of year. Like, I'm giving you all of these touch points for calls. Now Ryan gave me a good problem that I can't solve. And that is, if I didn't have a thought out strategy ahead of time, and I just kept calling people, eventually I would be treated more like like a salesperson. There's no relationship that was there. And I don't want that to be how these calls go. You do have to reconnect. That's the whole hardest part. But once you've reconnected, we've got all of the reasons in the world to come from a place of contribution first, and then we ask.
There's nothing worse than somebody and you check the MLS for the hot sheet that day, and you see they listed their house. There's literally nothing worse than that. So this will help prohibit that from happening. Hopefully,
it's happened. It's happened. It's happened to me, and it happened to me even when I was running a damn fine ship, and it still happens. So
that's like seeing a neighbor list in your neighborhood. You're like, what?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like my financial advisor's assistant, who I sold her first house, and stayed in touch. I saw her house come up on the MLS, and she sold it. I called her up. I was like, hey, what did I not do to earn your business on this? And she's like, oh, it's just, I don't know, my best friend. I was like, oh, okay, drop you as a financial advisor. Yeah, that's right. We all got friends. No, I mean, that stuff is still going to happen, but my problems that then were like, how am I going to handle 352 real estate transactions in a year? And I didn't get that one. Yeah, not the biggest fish to fry. All of these things that I'm telling you, all of the things that I've already done, all of them, right? So it's not like this is stuff that we're going to throw and go on the wall and see what sticks. But without you going and making a concerted effort to make these calls, we're never going to move the needle forward, right? And
System question.
Yeah.
You call SOI every day?
Yeah, I mean, every day I lived in.
So like one day a week or something like that?
No, I call every day I lived in this thing called Top Producer. That was my original. Actually, before that, it was an analog system, but I won't go into the details on that.
Right.
Every day you live in command and you live in commissions income.
Yep.
That's where you live every day. That's it. That's where you live. Now, I've given you some, if you guys are having problems with contacts, I've given you some touch points, like we can go and do DMs, you can do text messages, you can do emails, but they're not contacts. So I don't want you to fool yourself that that's actually going to get you business. It's not. Have you ever bought anything by email? Did somebody send you an email?
Well, it depends. Like if it was shoes, probably.
Jim asked about Jeff and emails. Yeah. I'm sure. But yeah, that one throws me every time. You know, like the mind share game they talk about in the MREA book, like when people think of real estate or when they think of any sort of service provider, you can only think of like one or maybe two names, but almost never, any more than that. So I used to like demonstrate with like soda. So like when you think of soda pop, what's the first one that comes to mind? Okay, what's the next? Okay, what's the next? Okay, what's the next? Okay, yeah, way too many. Most people are going to say she's totally. Most people are going to say Coke and Pepsi, something along those lines, right? And there are others, but you just don't. Yeah, apparently, and then I would always like I'd ask, when you think of shoes, you think of, and that's where I went wrong. It's like for whatever reason, women in their brain with like brands of shoes, I had no idea. I mean, a lot. So I just started asking guys, like, when you think shoes, you think
I don't think a Nike actually.
then you're out. And that's the same thing that we're demonstrating with these things like systems. I know where you
So
go.
when somebody thinks realtor, they want you want them to think you're.
Yeah, you're either
Right.
first or you're
Or
second, because beyond that, studies show you don't exist.
There's a really good book by Grant Cardone called "If You're Not First, You're Last."
Yeah,
Really good book.
yeah, and that's all about being first and how you be first, and
Yeah, it's true.
Use them.
I get most of my life lessons with economics.
that's funny. Just do some more YouTube on Bobby. Just gonna make them real life characters with Bobby.
I just want to go fast.
Yeah. Any other questions though? It's a good question. We live in our database every day and we treat it like a system. The next time that you meet somebody, how many pieces of information do you want to get?
Cool.
How do you get it? And what reason would they have for giving it to you? Yeah, that's okay. That's why I asked.
I mean, so, like you said, I've actually come to the point where I'm offering this, like, I do this part thing for the week, and I want to, like, if it's, I look at an invitation opportunity.
Perfect. That's all I was looking for. What's the reason somebody's gonna give you information?
Got it. Okay.
Because you always need to be thinking name, that's just an easy acronym for name, address, phone number. That's it. And as soon as you get that, then you put them into what's the plan? Yeah, and as soon as they're done with the 8x8, you'll have a notice that says, hey, put them on the 36 touch and apply the quarterly call. And now I did that with every single person that I had ever met that I could possibly think of, and I screwed it up plenty of times. B&I chapter, I didn't put those people in my SOI. I'm like, I hang out with them every week. What the hell am I doing? The taco vendor that I hired to do our very first, when we opened up the very first Williams office, I was in charge of that, the red day, party. So I hired the music and the taco vendor. And the taco vendor that I hired, is like, hey, who do I talk to? This is like the third freaking year it's in our cash party, and he's like, I think he actually said, hey, do I talk to your mom? Totally.
Yes, you talk.
No,
Absolutely.
I speak for my mother. You talk to me. But because I miss that. But here's the thing, I got good at never missing it and just not missing it. And I don't miss. You don't want to miss. You want to get it. Everybody, it's a system.
Yeah.
And once they're in there, they stay there forever. And all you got to do is then live in the system. And every day you just make phone calls from, well, for me, it was like 8:30 or 11:30. And there were a bunch of different phone calls, fourth week touch, 8th week touch, you follow up, SOI calls, whatever. It It was all of them.
Yeah.
They're all in my CRM. And I did this. And you know what? The people that are on an 8x8, I mean, I probably sold 100 phones to people that were in an 8x8 while we were going through. 8x8 is only 8 touches in 8 weeks and 2 of them are phone calls. How did I do that? Well, I didn't wait for my system to tell me to call them. I knew they were motivated. I was just doing the calls, but they were still on the 8x8. Why? Because the 8x8 led them to 36 touch system. No matter what, that was the system. I didn't care if you bought a home for me 2 days after we first met or not, you're still in the system. Why? No lead will ever get left behind that.
So by 2 votes, Audrey won this morning. So Amy's gonna be going up against Jamie for 3rd place, and then Audrey and Dalton are gonna go up for 1st place. $150 Amazon gift card. I think we should vote on what script they should do for the championship round now. Anybody know?
Yeah, I'm going with the. I'd love to hear, because we've been doing a lot of the expireds. So here's a question: have you called expireds?
No.
Okay, good. Hillary called expireds?
No.
All right. Have you called expireds?
Yes.
Good. Called expireds? Nice. Ryan called expireds?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah. All right. Good. So we got half the people now calling expireds. So I think that you stay in the expireds because that is the market of the moment, guys. It will be our market.
Josh, I have called expires too.
Not just the future.
Would you like the Jackie Kravitz expired? That's a good one.
Oh, Jackie's great.
Yeah.
She is.
Jackie Kravitz, you know who she is?
Yeah.
Man,
And then maybe Amy and Jamie would be really good on the
VIP and 5-step. Milford's the buy.
LP Mama VIP.
Yeah, there you go. LP Mama.
Got it. You down with that, Amy?
Yeah.
Cool.
LP
I think
Mama
still-
VIP.
It's not me.
Who is it? Who's playing?
Jamie.
Oh, it's Jamie Jackson. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's good. She's a
You're like, she's a pro on it.
bro.
I
She's
know.
better than me.
You want to do a different one?
No,
No,
you
scared?
gotta-
Good.
All right.
gotta do it.
It's motivation.
Still to date, the best line I've heard was Janet asked Amy, she's like, okay, great, and what's your email? And Amy's like, I'm gonna win this shit at gmail.com. Janet's like, oh no. It's so good.
Oh, that's good.
But it's not.
Yeah, got it good.
There you go.
It's like, oh wow.
Cool. Well, thanks for investing a little bit of your time. You know, keep the prospecting going here. Try to keep the interruptions with our cell phones or emails to the lowest possible level we can so we can be productive. I want you to try out the scripts and I want you to come back and I want you to tell me what's working, what's not working. All right, so we can fine tune. The whole point of this is I've given you all of the ways that we can do this, but you have to now do it and make it. Okay. So the 30 contacts a day, that's my goal, not your goal. So figure out what your goal is.
I have a question. So if you have prospecting SOIs, how do you prioritize? Do you mix and match or do you put one over the other?
Yeah, I mean, no, so like inside of the CRM, you know, I just, you know, I had 2. I did my prospecting and everything that was in the CRM was full. 4th week phone calls, like I sometimes would put people on an every 30 day. It was my SOI calls and I would just go through until it was done. And so that's a good question. What comes first? I mean, I would say get in the habit of like if you're calling expires, you just have to understand that expired people are probably going to answer early rather than later.
Right.
So call that first.
Okay.
If you're calling, you know, like SOI, and you're trying to get new connections to SOI, they would be early rather than later. Because you know, then they get to work and they're busy. Yeah, and they won't recognize, you know, many of your old workmates may not even recognize you. Maybe they do. That'd be great. Yeah, but it'll get to the point where you're basically just living in 2 different systems, right? You might be living in your Mojo, and then which is a have not met database, and in Command, which is a have met database, right? It could be Commissions Inc., which is a have not met database, and then you know Command, which is a have met database. You know, but that's it. That's where you. And you know, and then priority. I don't really know what to say because you need now business, and so. You're gonna have to do. You might have a 50% contact.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, just you might have to be prospecting from, you know, 8 to 8:15, and then again from 9 to 12, and then again from 3:30 to 5.
Right.
Which is excellent. No. Have you not noticed like no spam calls come in between like 3:30 and 5? Look at your little spam thing. You don't get like people don't call it that.
Right.
I don't know,
That's a good
because they
time.
didn't get the MIT study that was published in a Harvard Business.
Yeah.
Oh, the best time 8 to 9 and.
Yeah, it's like 3:30 to 5, and then it's like 8 to 9:30.
So
Those
it's
are the
pop
two
up
best
prospecting.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Mandy.
Yeah, next
It's gonna be
week.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
next Wednesday, I think.
Yeah, it's Wednesday, 3:30. Boom, hit hard.
It's at 3:30.
It's at 3:30.
With barbecue.
So if you're doing the,
Just come, you can just leave that guy.
leave that.
Yeah, what do you see me to do? No, don't go prospect.
No.
After the whole thing, it's gonna be like, you asked.
But that's on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? So
Mhm.
that's the last
And
day.
our pop-up prospecting is the last day, so you'll be pretty much through all of the stuff. Now you can be here. I'm gonna be here, you're gonna be here. I retired and I'm gonna be here.
Can I suggest on the script battle, don't let Josh go first on, giving his input.
Critiques or
Yeah, his critiques.
Why, does everybody follow suit?
No, but I mean, like, yeah.
It feels
I'm-
mean.